Good morning. Hello. Well, how you like that? And we thought we would change from our standard 5 minute countdown clock to big and bold 30 seconds. Wow. With music, and I was impressed. Anyway, it's here in America. It's Tuesday, election day. Big election nationally, as well as tons of little elections individually, states and citywide, etc. So people are out. If you're not in line watching us to vote, regardless, however you are, if you're willing to share with us this morning, it'd be great. This is Rant Review, our version of a talk show. Whereby if you call the local number posted on your screen, 504-383-3654. It'll always be the same. Spending the dime or have free service, limited service, please give us a call. Let's talk about some stuff, okay? As you know, I really don't want to talk about the candidates, even though it's election day, but your experience with voting, I would love to hear that. How the temperature is wherever you are. Was it really brutal when you went out there? Were you smart like a large percentage of the population and went out and voted early during that what? I think it was 2 weeks. If you'd like to call us, don't hesitate to do so on that number, and we'll be happy to put your call through and discuss whatever you would like. As we mentioned, or you can, you don't want to call us and you want to just chit chat, excuse me, text chat, do so on your one of your five platforms that you're watching us on. I'm checking stuff and make sure I get uh, uh, but if you do that, then we will bring the chat comment on screen so I can read it better. I'll try and read it on the smaller version without disturbing everyone. But we'd love to see what you want. Let's do. Yeah, remember the old days when we had radio? Very popular. They always did thing. Not too old. Thing called shout out. Oh, I'd love to hear if anybody is watching or listening or both. Hopefully, we'd love you to give us a call or chat text and shout out to someone, to yourself, or just let us know who you are, why that you're here. Any questions you might have, of course, we'd love to. Our topics, we'd love to entertain. Any references to or directions to our other shows, we'd love that as well. So again, we're trying different time frames. This is early. We got a few viewers yesterday, some from way far away, California, etc. So we'd be happy. I'm surprised they were up that early because yesterday was the day after the changeover, and 2 days after the changeover. People are having trouble, I guess, acclimating to the changing time. Let us know how you do with that if you like. Season, daylight savings time to standard time. I'm a proponent of, and I'm going to probably daylight saving time. Oh, total. When I think, if I remember correctly, and I think it was a Republican, very famous senator who I cannot, or representative, I cannot remember, who ran for, he was governor, Western states, and I believe president. I can't picture, but can't hold mine, can't remember. He actually opposed the original legislation, or actually involved in it, to formulate daylight savings time for the United States. At that time, it was going to be the permanent. It was forecast to be every day to be daylight savings time year round. This was to help, I believe, the farmers and stuff like that to give them extra time. And anyway, it was there are a lot of reasons. Of course, a lot of the proponents came back, which we're a dual-sided country, and they were worried about our children being waiting for the bus in the dark in the morning, because obviously the change um, to daylight saving time and you were up early. So sun didn't come up as early. But the fabulous reason or counter story for that was at the end of the day, added that hour. That's where it added on so that you would have more sunlight. And it's just so much more enjoyable whether you work a standard work day or whether you're just planning on going out to be able to go out and do things or come home and do things in the daylight hours instead of having to stay indoors or really cramped inside because of the dark. It's depressing. Everybody knows the SAD, sudden sad depression. It's they just some type of whether it's I think it's real, but anyway, disease condition that makes you less happy when it's dark or when it's a cloudy day. I enjoy a cloudy day. I enjoy the storm. But I do see everyone a little more perked up when it's a bright sunny day. It's just lifts the spirit, so to speak. Got a few watches on, I think the Periscope. Wow. Why is our Periscope been so reactive to us? I think maybe because Periscope doesn't have that many viewers around compared to the big guys. So that's why maybe we're fortunate enough to have some people just checking in. Again, we would love you to give us a call. My name is Bob Bockelman. Don't worry about misspelling it or mispronouncing it. But you can find this show or anything else on one of my three Facebook portfolios, and that was Bob Bockelman, Boeckelman, which I think also is the Periscope. I think, unless it's under the New Deal, which is also one of the Facebook, and their last Facebook is New Orleans TV Network programming station of all of our shows. For those who follow us at all, know that we been on hiatus because and just like now we most of our shows are guest dependent. This one is not. If you don't mind hearing me rant without any discourse or without any other or support, but the others all depend on having a guest or a co-host to bring to you their speciality, and hopefully you'll find some of interest, whether it's travel, whether it's restaurants, whether it's music, whether it's art, any of the 14 different types of shows, categories of shows that we have. So what we're doing, is we're staying on for a little while in the mornings, down testing out different times. Afternoons, I would love to do. I haven't had a chance, but we will see what we do. Or evenings, I know these type shows are very well attended, not necessarily mine, but other friends of mine who have it at stations at nighttime. And I guess that's front. But some of them, the later the time from our Emmett zone seems to be better, I guess, for the, and not necessarily for international, but for just national zone. So, of course, we're in the central, formerly now standard time zone of the U.S. So, it's about 8:53 if I'm reading correctly. And again, we're asking for anyone to give us a call. Just shout us out or text us. Send us a text or a comment, a chat on your social media platform. Let us know, you don't have to give us details about yourself if you don't care, but just to show that you're who you are. I see numbers, but I never see folks' names, even if it's artificial handle, as they call it. Still, it's always makes it a little more personable, makes it a little more worthwhile from my perspective that we're reaching out and some people want to see us and also perhaps want to communicate back with us, whether it's agree or disagree. Again, we'd love for you to just talk about anything. How's your day going? What you got in store? As we said, as we progress further on, we're going to start showing you some of what I call creative, in quotation marks, things that I have been doing along with fantastic, more skilled tradesmen in our courtyard here to make it a little bit more, not only presentable, but a little more personal as I'm getting so old. Eyes are failing. This way I can see. It's very colorful. So that if nothing else, it's colorful. And I like the colors combinations or whatever, but you at least will make that agreement that it is a colorful. Anyway, but we're not ready to start showing pictures yet because we got to find a time where we can develop a fairly responsive audience for this show. Again, if you know anyone else that wants to be on any of our shows, please contact me either by email at bob@rrevue.net. rrevue.net. And you know, our review is the name of our YouTube channel with a space in between the R's. But without the space, it's our email as well as our brand up there in the upper right corner. That ant, the star, for you. And if you go to our link on the YouTube R space REV channel, please subscribe. Love to get the numbers up. Can't do well with that stuff. But there you can find some PSAs. If you're not familiar, if you see some different program names, you don't know what it stands for because most of our programs are based off of our brand, our review, with the first R expanding to the category that will be discussed as a topic, the theme of the show. But if you don't understand it for whatever reason, there usually is a PSA, call it a PSA, which is a 10 or 15-minute maximum video program recording that will explain what that program is all about. So in case you want to see one, you can go through and find the ones you like, or you can just look at several that have already been done over the years because we do have an archive of that is located right there, and that way you can really see whether any of them interest you. Format is pretty much the same. It's boring me as the host along with a guest or co-host, hopefully very positive and entertaining, who will display for us and discuss their pictures of their product or service, whether it's finished food plates, whether it's bakers' beautiful cakes. And listen to Baker in the United Kingdom. I hope she'll give us some. She did an Art Deco. I'm a big Art Deco follower, and she did a fantastic rendering of an Art Deco lady sitting in a mirror on a cake. Really well done. So it's the first time I've seen it go to that elaborate level. So we would love to bring. We've had some other bakers on in the U.S. I don't think we've had any bakers from England. We had chefs on the chef show from England. So if you want to catch any of those, and again, it doesn't have to be just England. We've had artists from India and other continents. So we're pretty diverse. We are pretty universal. Let's put it that this and was diverse in our ability to bring in talented folk, let you see what they can do. Of course, almost all of them that render a product or service would be love to get either a commission or a sale or a contract from you with regard to their appearance. So if you would like to, that's part of the thing is actually we're promoting small business. Somebody from Australia, Olga Gordon, just sent me a note saying we hope we have a good show all the way from Australia. So Olga, I don't know. I know Australia is like almost a day. Um, Forgive me. I think it's behind our time, but I'm not sure. So if you are watching us, thank you for the lovely note. It didn't come through my comments though. Maybe your comments are on private chat, not public chat. 'Cause that's in order to get through to us. Of course, you would have to have it public. If you're on private chat or only to your friends, then we won't see it here. Maybe that was, and I understand that she doesn't make change, but of course, I hate with my bad eyes. I have to look here, and I'm not. A good friend of mine, Chef Miguel Chavez, and he sent us a note, and we sent him a little earlier thing. I'm sure he's watching, but he was nice enough to keep us in his thoughts. So again, we have a pretty good network of vendors and providers from history, not history, and they from time to time check in. But we would like to, of course, provide new programming for you all. So anytime you can give us a reference or decide you want to come on, there's no charge. The big deal to all of our shows is I underwrite them all. I pay for the software and also. Not that you have to know about that, but the big deal is that that way you don't have to worry about any kind of associated fees. So that way you can get on the air. And what's good about it is not only does it appears on these four other platforms, but the YouTube main platform, it stays permanent. So you can take that link, go to photos. I guess you hear all that digging going like crazy, but when nobody's coming through, so I don't know if they don't want to change. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm checking you, but I would love to be able to say any comment like Olga did from Australia. Um, please don't hesitate, like I said, to give us a call. Please, a shout out 504-383. What's that number? 3654. Sorry. But I know a lot of people are reluctant to talk, but you don't have to go into, you don't have to be erudite. You don't have to have sophisticated topics. Just call and say hello and let us know you're out there. Let us know what intrigued you about checking into us. That would be interesting from my perspective. Maybe that, I think the audience too. Everybody likes to know how do you choose your particular program that you watch and or listen. Obviously, if you're in that field, a specific field, I'm sure you gravitate to those. That's your niche. But since we have 14 niches, hopefully one of those could be of interest to you. But also this one, which, because talk shows are very popular, and usually in the daytime, on the radio, I guess they're in their cars, but they aren't all that long, so it's not like you're traveling most of the day unless you're a traveling salesman. How about movies? Let's talk a little bit about movies because I'm a big movie fan. All right, those are in fact we have a program Real REEL review, which allows directors and filmmakers come on and show trailers or excerpts of some of their projects, current and past, discuss their careers or actors or any aspect of the film industry. But I have been for years a fan of film. TV is, so by the internet now is so important. Even those carry movies. I mean, some channels are totally dependent. That's their whole source. So obviously, movies have interest too, or universal appeal. And my big proponent is I hate to see the death or demise of the theater because no matter how big your screen, I got a we have a 75. It's one of our screens, theater in the theater room. But still, it's great, beautiful, but nothing better than being in a full size auditorium watching a big screen movie. And one COVID, of course, has really hit into the not only the profits but the ability for filmmakers to show films. And films are, many of the films will stop being made during the early stages of the pandemic. I think more and more coming back with some control mechanisms so that they can produce films other than the small independent, which are sometimes very worthwhile anyway. But I have been a screener on the New Orleans Film Society's film festival preparation of movies that are submitted for competition to be shown, which starts this Friday, November 6th. It usually runs for a whole week. During the day, most of the day and the evening, you can see any of the independent films. These are films that are done by folk who don't necessarily have any kind of distributorship or deliberately want it just to be on the internet. And they range all the categories: documentaries, narratives, shorts, full narratives, like just like a movie that we screen for the festival for the Film Society. But they'll all start being shown now. Each night of the 7-day film festival, usually an upcoming commercial, what we call a commercial film that's got a release, not a release date, certainly necessary wherewithal shown in the cinemas come out. And we see sometimes award winning or Oscar winning movies a year before they're released. They're not all of them. So it's fascinating. This year, because of the pandemic, everything has changed. Most of the independent films are being shown on a streamlined basis, meaning watch on the internet or cast to their TV, big screen like we do. And sure there's I don't know what the charges are if you're not a member, but anyway, they are member charges and done. The blockbusters, which have, so far I believe only two have been announced, meaning that evening shows, the beginning and closing, are going to be done on outside venues. Two in one particular, we have a started as a bike strip area from the river all the way to I forgot at least the mid city of our city, and it's a greenway. It's called the Greenway, and they have now they're building commercial venues on there, and they're allowing walkers, bike. Anyway, it's got to be a big draw. So in two of the spaces there, they created stages for showing outdoor screenings up to 250 people because I think that's the maximum under the current pandemic rulings of our dictated by our mayor. And there's a smaller venue associated with a full theater, broad theater in mid city that is maybe about 100, maybe probably less than that. It fenced off and it closed a neighboring property with no retaining. So we're going to try one of both of those, opening night and closing night at each of those locations, unless the weather is prohibitive. If it's as cold as it is today, of course I won't be doing it. But anyway, we'll do is uh, maybe we can come on and start a real review without a guest and start telling you. We've done this before. They don't allow us to actually show films. Film festival does it. So in order for us to show any of these films to you on YouTube, by bringing it up to YouTube, we would have to have permission from the filmmaker and owns it, etc., which is a lot of hassle. I certainly don't have the time to do that with these other shows and living my sedentary life, as we call it. But we'll certainly start talking about some, and maybe any ones that we can give you at least the name of the film and the director. You can then look it up on YouTube if it's on YouTube and see it for yourself. Okay, at your convenience. So, well, stay tuned on that situation. We'll let you know. We'll probably won't do that under Rant Revue because it's so specialized with film. And even though it doesn't involve a guest, get some guests, we'll be glad to give you several of those names that we think are worthwhile. Not only the ones we mentioned, we only screen narrative features, which are an hour and a half to 2 hours long. Don't have the patience for that, even though that's the typical, pretty much a typical time for a full blown feature film in a theater. Most of the people gravitate to what we call narrative shorts, under half an hour, or documentaries. Even the documentaries are the documentary shorts versus a full documentary, which would be close to the length of the narrative feature. I don't want to bore you with all that because let's wait and see. Hopefully, we can develop something along that line. If some people are interested, again, if you would be interested in that, drop me a line, drop me an email, bob@allreview.net. Go on one of my Facebook platforms, let me know. Hey, Bob, we would like to know a little bit about these movies, even, especially if we can see about our home during as the pandemic continues during our lifetime and are afraid to go out to the shows. Fortunately, in New Orleans, for those New Orleans viewers, if there's any watching, our local independent, long-standing, only independent film show, the Britannia, located on Britannia Street, has acquired a mall complex downtown theater of 9 theaters that was formerly one run. The last owner was the Regal Group, We'll let it go. It's been sitting vacant for most of this year, and they are reopening 9 theaters this Friday. So we will be excited. In fact, we spoke to them yesterday trying to get the list, since it's very short notice, on what movies they have, so we can start patronizing those theaters. And so any of the ones that we find are there, we'll have freedom. We won't be able to show them to you, but we certainly will be able to mention to you about it in detail, because it won't be coming through the film festival. He will be coming just through the organization that owns the company that owns the Britannia, which I believe is the Brunet. Rene Brunet was a long-standing owner of the Britannia, and I know he's been general manager. He passed away a year or 2 years ago, but his family still in direct involvement with the operation of the original theater, and I believe will also be involved with the opening of the 9 theaters. So, for those in the New Orleans area, this is news for you, and you are film buff. Get out of those households. Yeah, I know it's hard. Wear your mask. You can. There's theories of whether you can keep the mask. We don't. We take our mask off in the theater because there's so few attendees in the movie theaters. We go. We call them private screenings because we are the only ones there, or maybe a handful, 5 people, something like that. All right. Doesn't seem like anyone else wants to say hello, either by phone. Again, we really want to test the phone situation to see if it's working. As we mentioned, it was, I don't want to bore you with that, but we were having some problems. Our big problems related to when we have a guest who offers a service, like our poor psychic, Robin Denon, out of California. In case you need it or interested in a tarot reading or psychic or a medium to talk to any of your friends, deceased friends or family, give her a look up. ROBYNDEN.com, I believe. Or you go back and look at some of our archive shows. Talk to the Tarot, where she would give free readings and contacts information to loved ones on our show. Unfortunately, it was a weekly Tuesday night show, very popular. We've had to suspend it not because of the virus per se, but because of the software, as I mentioned, not allowing the callers. If people don't want to do it, it's too complex. You have to do all that typing. So people want to speak on the phone, sometimes being seen. So that's not a problem. And hearing it directly to the psychic, and giving them the information, hearing the feedback. So we've had to suspense with that, and I know if we get it working, I know she would be interested in coming back. And really, we used to do it in the morning. We moved it to the evening, and both times were able to get people who wanted to hear or have their reading. We would let people call in at last minute. We just have to give a couple of pieces of information like name and location or something, and they're able to. She's able to do a reading or whatever for your contact from your relative. Okay. Well, we don't want to bore you anymore. We thank those who did check in with us today, at least by the statistical numbers. We thank Oliver Gordon from Australia. One day she can call in, even though I guess she needs more notice than just 30 seconds. That's why we do the 5 minute notice. And you're supposed to be getting notifications by the proper platform. And some of them are half an hour in advance, some of them momentarily. So I can understand. But once we get a framework going, we will then publish our schedule like we used to do in Facebook on all of our platforms. So that way you know what the weekly schedule is. We might not be able to do months and stuff, but we try and take a consistent programming just like television did, so you know when your particular show is. And if you don't see it live, then you can of course go to the YouTube archive and catch it up at any time you want to see it. Okay? All right. Well, again, we want to thank you so much. We're going to sign off. Bob Bockelman for Rant Review, and we'll try again maybe again tomorrow. Take care. Good luck on election day.